my reading of it is that they want to increase the number of NCMPs to 12 so as to tell the electorate, look, don't have so much clamour to vote for the opposition because you will get 12 seats. Why? Because of the fear that in the next election there will be an overcompensation by the voters the other way around.
The other way of looking at what Derek said, which is the overcompensation, is to think of the PAP in this instance being rather looking rather more forward in time to the day perhaps that they are not in fact in power. Now, if they are not in fact in power, and if they are among the best losers, with 12 members in the NCMP seats, and maybe a smattering that are duly elected but not forming the government, you can have a coalition and you have enough numbers to take on the ruling party, whoever that might be.
When it was first introduced, I think a lot of people saw it as a way to tell the public, you don't need to elect these people.
Yes.
And that might have been the intention of the government. We never know, right? We can't read the government's mind. But it has actually turned the other way around. It has actually served the opposition quite well.
They could have nuanced their protests this way, that they could have said that we are satisfied with what we have now in terms of 9 NCMPs, okay? But to increase it to 12, what is the purpose? What is the real intention of the government to do that?
By reducing the size of GRC, it actually benefits the opposition party because they have difficulties, or there's a belief that they have difficulties getting enough candidates to fill the 5 members or 6 members. So if you reduce the GRC to 4 GRCs, it actually benefits them. So it's not like the government is afraid, but actually it's trying to encourage participation. I like to see it that way.
I think you're very generous to the government, because if we look at all the things that they want to change, it sure sounds as if they are afraid to lose something. Okay, NCMP. Okay, maybe NCMP is a little bit more vague, but let's look at the reduction in the size of GRCs. They grew the GRCs without hesitation. 1988, 39 GRCs, 3 members. They grew them to 4, and then 5 and 6. And at one point, elections were only contested by 5 and 6 member GRCs, no 4 even. And then suddenly they began to scale back.
We can really only afford 2 parties, and it's really the PAP. And in my point of view, and as I say, a lot of people don't like this, but tough luck, I have to say it, is the other party is the WP.
But I think this assumes that you can only initiate political change through parliament, that you have to be a politician in order to initiate political change. But why can't we initiate political change as a citizen through civil society, for example?
I don't see what is wrong with, for us to have, actually 3 strong parties. But for that to happen, we need other changes, not just changes initiated by the government. For example, we need to have a press, which is decent enough for a country which is 50 years old.
Has it worked or not? As far as I know, I think it has worked. So why go and change the system? That's my point.
Yeah. The Economist magazine did ask that question. I mean, why change the system that's working?
So then, again, this is not speculation. I come to the point that could it all be because of what happened in the last election?
Okay. You're talking
if the last election,
in specific terms, you're talking about the Tanjung Bok factor, right?
Not just Tanjung Bok factor, but I think that it was a heavily contested election. There were 4 people who fought, and Dr. Tony Tan just scraped through. It was a real scare. So was it intended with that in mind?
Presidential election and by-elections have all become occasions for Singaporeans to cast a protest vote against the ruling party. Now, do you all want that to be the case?
Council of Presidential Advisors are not elected, they are appointed.
Exactly.
And the big problem, of course, is that if you keep giving these more power to a bunch of unelected persons than the person you've elected, I think there's a real incongruence and a real problem on your hands.
So right
you're gonna lose legitimacy in that sense. There.
So now, with the possible strengthening of the CPA, anyone who comes in who is not CPA be like? Would be forced to become
Yeah. So you've
right?
got
Because of the CPA needing to follow the CPA.
right. So the president is supposed to check on Parliament, and now you want somebody to check on the president.
We have presidents and all that, they carry out their ceremonial function, but they have no unlocked reserves. At least I couldn't remember.
They
Correct
have.
me if I'm
Yes,
wrong.
yes.
They have once.
They have one.
Once, more token, symbolic.
No, it's
No,
not.
no, no,
It's
no.
not
Substantial.
token. It's
After
not token.
2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
It's not
Once.
token.
Yes.
Resilience package, quite
Yes,
seriously.
yes.
You know, keep the eligibility criteria up to date. What does that mean? Make it harder, right? Probably, because in that midst of that speech, he came out with this 2,000 over companies that are over more than 100 million paid up capital. So suddenly your pool has grown from maybe 2 to 300 in 1993 right up to 2,000+ now. That's one. Two, strengthening the CPA. We've talked about that. And the last one, ensuring that minorities have a chance to be elected. Right? This is something we haven't touched on at the moment. But this is fundamentally inconsistent with the idea of competition.
Why the ruling party seems to have such a contempt for democracy when it comes to offices of of government that are more resonant to like popular
Because the purpose
vote.
is to
Yeah.
check rogue governments. So
Yeah.
why is everybody a rogue, right? Yeah.
Check a possible rogue government, right?
Yeah, I mean, why use the word rogue government? You don't hear any other government
That
using
one you should ask Lee Kuan Yew. if you have a direct line to him, please ask him. It in a sense dilutes the elected presidency, because the elected presidency is a person who should be who should be safeguarding our reserves. He should be impeccable character. You know? He should be looking at Singaporeans and the safety of Singaporeans and the prosperity of Singaporeans and the welfare of Singaporeans.
And above race.
And he should be above race. So why bring in this at all?
We do it the GRC style. You don't have one president running for election, you have 3 in a team. One Chinese, one Malay, and one Indian or other.
Then you forgot the Eurasian.
Or other. Yeah. And then I hate this phrase, but it's official, right? So then you win and you go into the Istana, right? And you take turns to be the president. So 6-year term, each one do 3 years. Each one do 2 years. The other 2, since the president is entitled to appoint 2 members in the CPA, 2 of them go into the CPA. When the president's away, one of them, who is the chairman of CPA, stands in as the president, and you do a rotation.
Okay,
and you can then.
Can I veto that?